All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Cracking Cryptocurrency Show. I, of course, am your host, Justin Wise, lead analyst and senior mentor here at Cracking Cryptocurrency. Hopefully, you guys are doing absolutely fantastic wherever you happen to be tuning in from today, whether that's abroad, whether that's here, whether that's from my backyard where you have creeped up on me by, I don't know, I don't know. I do my best to stay pseudo-anonymous, you know what I mean? Like the good old Satoshi himself. Anyways, we've got a great show for you. Whoa, hey. We've got a great show for you guys today. We're going to be talking about Bitcoin, obviously going over the Ethereum charts as well, looking at a couple altcoins that have absolutely exploded, looking at the crypto bubbles, kind of seeing what's moving on in the space. I find overall it's kind of an interesting couple of days in the market. Obviously, we have this massive market pressure or this kind of gloomish cloud hanging over everybody. Which is going to happen when prices keep going down. If you talk to people when prices are going up, they're usually pretty happy. If you talk to them when prices are going down, they're usually a little depressed and a little sardonic and maybe misanthropic, dare I say. With that being said, the big market pressures, including obviously the new COVID variant, Omicron, which is the stuff of nightmares, right? Like Delta is like just the word Delta is absolutely nothing compared to Omicron, like the word of it, right? It sounds terrifying. For any of you guys who have played Soma, right? For any of you who have played Soma, maybe you will be reminded of the terrors of the name of the word Omicron. So we've got those market pressures, obviously. We've got Darth Powell over at the Fed being pretty what's the opposite of dovish, right? Hawkish? No, that's war. Like eagle-ish? Falconish. Powell being straight falconish, basically saying that, hey, yeah, inflation's pretty bad. It's not transitory, and there's not a whole lot that we can do about it. So yesterday we talked a little bit about Jim Simons and how to, mathematical ways to beat the market. Today we're going to be looking at obviously the markets, taking your guys' chart requests, getting prepared for the weekend, getting our game plan in order. And then I'm going to be talking a little bit about something that I've just implemented for our premium members, which is, and actually I'm really, really happy to continue pushing this forward. It's going to get better as the days continue to go on, but I am going to be beaming our automated trading signals into the Discord for our premium members. We've obviously been doing manual trading for a long, long time, and we've had a couple automated systems running now for a while. One that's been public to our premium members, which is the bottom feeder bot, but we've also had a couple strategies running in the background for the last year. The Cybot strategies that some of you will remember that we kind of pushed out and then pulled them back because we wanted to do a little bit more work on them. Obviously not a lot of that got done while I was on my sabbatical, but now I'm back in and I'm coding furiously. So I've already got a new automated strategy that's up and running for Bitcoin and Ethereum, beaming signals into the Discord right now for you guys. I note that there is one error that I wasn't able to fix last night because I just kind of finished coding this all last night and pushed it in there for you guys. And I just fixed that error this morning. And the error is that in the Discord message, the stop loss is not included. I've figured out how to fix that now, and I'll be beaming those in here shortly. I have to delete the old webhooks and create new ones that are in line with the Pine strategy. And cool thing too, I'm going to take this strategy and I need to make a couple changes to it, but then I'm going to publish it as a TradingView strategy so that you guys can put this on your chart yourself and apply it to whatever markets or assets that you want. Change what settings you can. I really do like the code base that I have for my strategy testers as well. It took me a long time to create it, but essentially there is the exit indicator library and there's the confirmation indicator library. So you guys have a lot of different options for how you want to customize your strategies. And for those of you who are premium members who've used the Wada Atar explosion strategy, you guys will be kind of familiar with how all encompassing those strategies can be. Let's see here. Let's give a shout out to the chat, and then we're going to get right into the live scene here. Pull my keyboard right here. Okay. I see Crypto Bull 21, Fifth Ronin, Rhino TD, Any Word, Crypto Jenny, Matea, I'm gonna try Mate, Van Dalen, Alex81, SG, Cornholio. Let's see here. And Jordan Stotts and Sweet Canary. Good to see you guys. Jordan Stotts asking, did I get my PC hardwired into the network? Stream looks good. Yes, I did. I ordered I'll tell you guys the nice thing about living in, so for those of you guys who have been following the stream for a while. So I was living in the Midwest for quite a while, pretty rural area. And I really liked that at the time. You know, it was a great place to just spend time with my daughter, spend time with my dog for the last year. And you know, I grew up there. It's a great community, good people. It's quiet. Life moves slowly. And you know, and it just allows me to enjoy. You know, I'm on my computer, you know, all day, every day. We're, you know, creating strategies, trading, doing mentorship. And in cryptocurrency, things tend to move very fast, right? And they move very fast. They're right on your computer. You get alerts all the time. Everybody's moving. This is moving. People are creating new stuff. Protocols are changing. It's just rapidly dynamic and always changing. And so the ability to just turn that off and step outside, and, you know, you got old Farmer Bob just driving by slowly on his tractor. It's kind of a nice thing, all right? I am now in a more populated area, stone's throw away from the old Boulder, Colorado. And, you know, the outside pace moves differently here, but you know, obviously there's some beautiful things, right? Like the view of the mountains, the air out here, the lack of, you know, it's beautiful out here, right? And so much, you know, honestly, a lot of opportunities for my daughter as well, as she's starting to get older now and going to school and everything. So I don't know what that was all apropos of. The conversation started out with me just talking about how, yes, I did get my I understand what I was going to say. I remember what I was going to say. In the Midwest, though, Amazon, if it says next day delivery, that's not true. It's a scam. It's going to be 3 days, maybe 4, right? Doesn't matter if you have Prime, Super Prime, Ultra Prime. If you're Jeff Bezos and you live in the Midwest, there is no such thing as next day delivery. But out here, okay, if I order something on Amazon, like I should be looking, like I'll see the delivery driver coming around the corner. It's kind of crazy, right? I know for a lot of you guys who like live in populated areas, that's new to you, but that's new to me. And it's cool, and it's also obviously dangerous if you have an impulse to buy or consumerism. And one thing to remember too, that is something to be aware of, right? You're like budgeting, your own personal financial habits are extremely important, especially in kind of the current economy that we're at, right? Where the prices of goods is rising, CPIs are rising across the board on consumable goods. So that's not going to stop. Things are going to get more expensive. Commodities are going to rise in price. So gasoline is going to continue to get expensive. However, there's a couple things that I know the United States government particularly is trying to do to avert that. We'll see how effective that is. But in general, you should continue to see the prices of commodities rising, especially, honestly, with the fact that, so let's think about that for a second, right? The United States government pledged that I was thinking it was 100 million barrels of oil. I could be completely wrong about that, but it was a large number. They said that they were going to, I don't know if they're actually going to do this, but they said that they're going to attempt to stockpile oil so that they could artificially deflate the prices of gasoline for American consumers, right? So here's the problem with that. And this is a trade potentially, right? There's a way to profit off of this, right? We know that inflation is going to cause commodity prices to rise, okay? It's going to, in theory, inflation should cause stock prices to devalue as well, right? Theoretically. But there's a little bit of a financial intermediary in there that's currently preventing that from happening. And of course, individuals being kind of contained to their homes and having nothing much to do except for speculate on the latest dog coin and, you know, ape into Tesla doesn't exacerbates that trend as well. But in theory, right, inflation should raise commodity prices and good prices. It should. Well, actually, it's COVID that's hurting the interperson service as a business, and it should decrease equity prices. So if you have a large buyer, and this is kind of the issue with government money, right? The burden's going to get passed on to the taxpayer, right? Because essentially the government only has taxpayer money. The government is pledging to purchase all this oil with taxpayer dollars that is going to, therefore, they think, or they're going to attempt to deflate the prices of gasoline utilizing the money from the taxpayer. However, the prices of commodities are still going to rise. And if oil producers know that there is large willing buyers, right, they have no incentive to not keep their price increases in line with the pace of inflation. So again, like there's nothing new under the sun. There's no such thing as a free lunch. This is just a cost that's going to get passed on to the taxpayers. And this is true not just in America. This is true for any country that attempts to come in and command and control the economy, right? The free market is the best system that we have for keeping prices fair. So. Anywho's, all right, take life one trade at a time, every trade One Diet Coke at a time. Somebody make that meme. Let's go. Okay, let's get into the live scene. Okay, so we are going to, so first off, let's just talk about the big movers of the day. It's Ponzi, good to see you in the chat. Let's see here, morning gents, 10 gigabyte crazy. You know, listen, this is just, it's amazing what you can do on a 1 gig connection, right? So this is just Cat 6, no need for Cat 7. Yeah, it is Cat 6 though. Bird, good to see you as well. All right, so we did a couple trades that I want to point out before we really get into anything right here. And listen, you know, I want to say I'm sorry, but like, geez. So last night on my daily scan, 3 coins came up, right? Matic USDT, Cortex, and Contentos. All right, so COS and then CTXC. CTXC obviously today up 200%. Okay. And I did not take that trade because, again, I don't want to flood the Discord with signals currently right now. Right. The reason why is because my manual trading is currently taking a little bit of a backseat so that I can finish out this automated system. And again, I am overall a little hawkish in this area of the market. Again, hawkish is not the right word, straight falconish. Okay. Not bearish, right? I'm just cautious. And that's allowed me to. It's allowed me to continue to profit in the markets when lots of people get to that kind of critical turning point and then the market turns around. They don't know what to do. They end up holding on. They give back a lot of their gains. When all you have to do is just realize that the market's always going to be there, right? Things are always going to be pumping crazily. And even if they're not pumping crazily, there's always ways to create and define strategies that are able to be profitable in the marketplace. And so your direct ability to be patient and only trade your strategy, to have the discipline to only trade your strategy, is going to be a direct representation of how well you can hold on to your money. Anybody can get lucky, okay? Anybody can get lucky and make money. This is a true fact, right? You know, it's not, listen, it's not easy to make a ton of money, right? But there's a lot of luck that can be involved with making large quantities of money. The skill comes in keeping that money, right? If you're not disciplined, if you don't have a system, if you're just winging it, right, you're going to make critical mistakes that you can't afford to make. This is not a choose your, you know, life is a choose your own adventure story, but there's no rewind button, right? Like you obviously want to learn from your mistakes, right? And pick yourself up, have a positive and winning mindset. But at the same time, you know, your life is going to be a lot worse if you don't do a lot of the research and training and strategy creation and pre-creating the discipline ahead of time. You know, you just don't want to, it's great to learn from your mistakes, but it's better to learn from other people's mistakes. Okay. It's better to learn from other people's mistakes and not make the mistakes in the first place. Gabe Anderson, good to see you, my friend. Gravy Gets in Green. Scrapple and chitlins for breakfast today. So, I had, you know, it's funny, you know, obviously I'm a grown man. I've been eating fried eggs my entire life. It's one of my, listen, sausages and fried eggs, best breakfast out there. You put a little cheese on that egg. Oh my God. Now, obviously you guys know that I'm pretty prone and kind of a fan of the keto diet. So I have gotten, I try to get away from like having I used to love toast in the morning, but I've tried to get away from that as much as possible. Usually what I do now is buttered coffee, or what they call bulletproof coffee. So 2 tablespoons of butter, 1 tablespoon of MCT oil. Maybe on days where I'm feeling real froggy, you know what I mean? Like a little thing of CBD, not THC, but just CBD. Again, don't use substances, but, that's what I'm looking for here. Yeah. And I love that. Right. And then, you know, you gotta have a big old like turkey salad at lunch, not turkey salad, but like salad with turkey in it. And then a big old steak or a chicken breast for dinner. Loving it. Right. You know, on the mornings where I do eat breakfast, it's usually eggs and sausage. And, you know, I've been scrambling eggs for my daughter for years, scrambling eggs for myself for years, frying eggs for myself for years, right? So typically I'll scramble eggs for my daughter, fry eggs for myself. And then I come across this concept of a fried scramble, right? Like, can you believe this? Like I'm 33 years old and I have never heard of that before I moved to Colorado. And, I'm not gonna lie, guys, it's incredible. So if you're unfamiliar with the fried scramble, you guys, after the show, go bust out your frying pans, crack an egg, let it fry, and then, you know what I'm saying? Get it, scramble it up. A little bit of milk, good to go. All right. Have I tried a crispy egg? No, I haven't. I did like, you know, I can never remember frog in a hole. I remember my mom making those for me when we were a kid. It's But you know, you basically take a piece of toast and you carve out the middle of it, and then you plop an egg in there, and then if you're real fancy, you put a little smiley face with some ketchup on it. You know what I mean? Murdoch the Murloc, good to see you. It's been a while, my friend. Okay. So big mover of the day, like one of the big, you know, the mover that I have my eye on, of course, because I was looking at this position last night. Cortex up currently 224%. Let's just look, and just, you know, again, for confirmation, let's just kind of get that off the chart. Okay, and we can see here, it'll be easier. I'll just do bar replay right here. And we can see right here, Minx gives the signal by going from below the zero line to above the zero line. We get the large column on Wadatar explosion with that rising momentum. And there's the green volume bar. And of course, we're above the baseline. So boom, everything right there, and just a whopping 200%. So shout out to anybody who took that. Matic USDT is the position that we did take last night. Not Matkey, Matic. There we go. Matic USDT continuing to do good. I like this nice stair stepping up. Matic, there's been a lot, you know, listen, one thing, you know, understanding market regimes and understanding just kind of what's going on right now is important. So, you know, you can tend to be a little bit more aggressive, in my opinion, with things that you know are popular right now, or that have the trend behind them. So what things are popular right now? Excuse me, not so much just random decentralized protocols. Obviously, for those of you who are a little bit more experienced in cryptocurrency, you know, there's a lot, you know, there's a good edge right now in getting into projects that are launching on Solana. That, you know, buying, you know, the BSC, like, you know, it's tricky, you know, because it's just so flooded with rug pulls and issues like that. Projects launching on Solana are fewer and far between. And so there's less of that. And a lot of them are doing quite well. So looking for protocols, looking for, you know, solutions that are running on top of Solana, there tends to be a pretty good edge in that so far. It's just a free tidbit I'll give you guys. Secondly, you know, things that are associated with, like, you know, we've gone through the cycles of what's hot. Obviously, what's hot right now, metaverse and anything associated with that, right? So, you know, looking for things that can just loosely fit into there. If you get those trending signals, you can tend to, and there's a couple ways to do this. We've talked about this before. Necessarily increasing risk is maybe not the thing to do, but perhaps just being a little bit more generous. Let's say you normally use a 1, 2, 3 profit taking strategy. Give yourself an option to make a little bit more profit. Like take your initial profit or your first take profit, move your stop loss to break even, and then let that baby ride, which is the general way I prefer to do all my trades, right? Because, you know, when I've looked at my statistics over the years of trading, you know, if we get to when it gets to rough areas of the market, sometimes I'll just make a little or just lose a little. I want to have these big, huge gains that you see people flexing on Instagram, but most of that crap's fake anyways. And if it's not fake, they got lucky. But however, when I do get large gains, it's largely because of my strategy of letting my winner run. Right? Let that winner run. It goes up quite a bit. And all of a sudden I'll just have, so my equity curve's pretty smooth up, but instead of having these large chunks down, which is what you'll see in an amateur's equity curve, who, you know, not necessarily a bad thing, but just, you know, an amateur trader is typically going to have, take some time to learn how to not take large losses. But you want a nice smooth equity curve curling up. But the nice thing to see is my equity curve is nice and smooths up, you know, gets into some points where it goes sideways for all, but you know, it'll have these large leaps up, which is quite nice. And those are the trades, or the sum of the trades that where I've let the winners run and they've done exponentially well. You know, so, you know, everybody wants to like look at these like big gains. How do I find the big gain? There's no way to do it, right? It's impossible. It's absolutely impossible. To consistently like know which coins are just going to pump incredibly well. Even if you have inside information on a pump and dump, on a coin that's going to go up, you can never know how it's actually going to go. You can't. There are too many variables outside your control. There's all the market participants. There's when are they going to buy? When are they going to sell? How many people are actually going to come in? You know, the way that the exchange is going to handle it, like the rate limiting, like the order processing, like all of these things are completely random. So that's the noise and the randomness of the market. Now, if you have inside information, you can have a pretty good idea that something's going to work well. And if you have a strategy, right, you can have a pretty good idea that something's going to work well, and you put the odds in your favor by entering that, right? But you're going to have to take a decent amount of okay trades or break even trades. It's just the way that it goes, right? Because, well, here's one thing too, and this is why I love trend following trading, particularly in cryptocurrency, is because trend following trading is the only strategy that I'm aware of that opens you up to those large gains. If you're a reversal trader, you're never going to capture like a big, massive movement like that because so sometimes you can, right? Sometimes reversal traders will nail the bottom and then it goes up quite a bit, right? That was the actual bottom, and it was the bottom before the trend. But there's so many bottoms in between that, right? Again, it's kind of the same concept, right? If you're a pure reversal trader, you're going to have so many false stops, right? And you're just not going to get those large gains. And by practicing that reversal strategy, by actually implementing that reversal strategy over a long period of time, what tends to happen is that you kind of, your psychology is affected by it, right? Where you're so used to, the trade bottoming and getting a good entry, right? Let's say you're a good reversal trader. So you're conditioned to getting a good entry. But you've seen so many times like price just move a little bit before it continues down, right? So your take profit is the trend following trader's re-entry, for example, right? Because when we're trend following trading, we are looking for continuation signals, and those are going to be typically reversal trades, reversal entries in a trend. So if price is trending upwards and there's a large dip, we look to get in on that dip, right? To continue price moving to the upside. But if you're just a reversal trader, you're going to be so used to seeing price just move a little bit that you're typically going to clutch at profits very quickly. And so when you do actually get right, when you do actually nail it and call the actual bottom, and then that was the bottom before a large trend occurs, you're almost never going to be able to ride that trend the whole way. Whereas a trend following trader is going to have a lot of, like false signals and false starts, right? Your success rate is on average going to be a little bit lower than that, but you're opened up to allowing that trend to just breathe. You ride it, it goes, and you're able to capture those big, massive gains. I don't know of any other way to do it, except for inside information, which is illegal. Right. Would be even more if I let. Yep, absolutely, Boris. So Boris Bitcoin says he agrees with letting the winners run. His biggest profit makers every month come from the coins where he let the last 20% run. Would it be even more if I let 50% ride to the moon? Well, there's something for you to experiment with, man. It's Ponzi saying fundamental analysis really is 50-50 sometimes. Did a ton of research on Decentraland when it was sitting at 7 cents. Missed that one. Again, the thing about fundamental analysis, right, is that it certainly helps. Like, you want to understand the protocols that you're trading. You want to understand the cryptocurrencies that you're trading. You want to understand how all this stuff works. But again, all the analysis in the world is not going to tell you what's going to happen in the market. Right? Technical analysis can help a little bit with that, putting you in the right position at the right time. And then a good trading strategy is going to let you actually capitalize on that. And then you have to have the discipline to continue to execute this comprehensive strategy, right? So, fundamental analysis is good. Understand what you're trading and have a good idea of what's valuable and what's not, what's worth your time, okay? Technical analysis, getting into that once you've identified what's valuable, okay? Getting into that market, identifying good potential trading opportunities, right? Risk management and a stop and target system is going to allow you to capitalize on those entries when you do take them. And then you need to develop the discipline and patience to just continue to do that over and over and over again and not fuck up. Okay. So Matic doing well, smashing that TP1, moving the stop loss to break even. The only other position that we currently have open is going to be Alice. Okay. And our entry in Alice was right around here. So we've already taken half of our position off and we're just letting this go. Alice is not continuing to push to the upside, but again, Metaverse token, we'll just let this breathe, let this do what it does. And then BTC. So, okay. So let's talk about, all right, so let's talk about These are not the final numbers because, as I said, I'm going in here and doing some modifications to make it a little easier for automation. So just while the equity curve is nice, and again, you can see the exact same thing. 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, and that's what you want to see in a nice curve. There's some big winners in here. And again, that's the trend following trading. The big profits come from allowing the winners to run, and this is a strategy that does allow the winners to run. So this is the actually Murdoch to Murloc. This is exactly what I'm showing on the chart. This is the super duper. I call it the super duper. It's the Demas strategy. I made a couple little changes to it, and these are the results that I've got. I found the 3-hour time frame. So right now I'm just focusing on Ethereum and BTC margin trades. I found that it works extremely well on the 3-hour chart, both for BTC and Ethereum. Interestingly enough, like the 6-hour chart works well, also works well. But it's pretty decent on just about everything. And I do want to point out that right now the strategy did just signal a short for both Bitcoin and Ethereum. Stop loss at let's see here. Stop loss at 58,700. And again, there's no take profit for the system unless you want to code one in. I'll give you guys an example of what this is going to look like, what the strategy tester is going to look like. Those of you who've used the Wadatar strategy tester are going to be pretty familiar with this, but when I publish this on TradingView, probably next week, I'll get this done. I'm going to work on this a little bit over the weekend and then hopefully wrap it all up next week. You can determine if you want to trade, test long trades or short trades or both. You can determine, risk percentage, which I like. You can just set 2% and it handles all the calculations for you. You can do a fixed size. This is good for kind of testing, especially if you're going to be using strategy alerts or hooking this into an automated trading system like 3 commas, or you can just use percent of equity. We've got for this one, the entry signal is going to be the only entry signal for this particular strategy. You've got confirmation. It's set to DEMA by default. So if you take this off, it's just going to be testing the super trend, right? So keep DEMA on if you want to use the super duper strategy. And then you have the baseline option. I actually have a Heikinashi confirmation on here, which I found gave it a minimal improvement. And then you have your, right now, it's kind of silly that I did this, but I just wanted to put it in there. Right now it's it's automatically going to exit a trade when the sell signal is generated if you're in a long, and if it's automatically going to generate it's automatically going to exit the short when a buy signal is generated. But for redundancy, you can put it there. But here's the exit indicator library. You can exit on any of these conditions. For this particular indicator, I found that really none of these made it any better. But again, that it's going to completely depend on the asset that you're looking at. It's going to depend on the time frame that you're trading. It's going to depend on the confirmations. You have the option for fail-safe conditions. These are going to be what we call early exits. So by default, this strategy does not do any early exits. It's just enters. It's very simple. It's a 2-indicator strategy. However, if you want, and there's no early exits, so it either hits the stop loss or it exits and take profits. A couple features I want to add into this is only sell in profit and trade expiration. There's a couple programmers on TradingView that have implemented those aspects into their code, and I think they're really good. So I'll be playing around with that a little bit this weekend as well. But right now we've got some fail-safe exits, bear bull cross on the DMI, the baseline cross, which is going to be our typically most popular one, and then the ADX trend reset. This is when the ADX goes above 50 and then comes back down below 50, which typically indicates that a trend has ended. Here you can adjust all your position sizing, percent of equity, risk percentage, or what your fixed size lot is. And then you can use the stop loss. There's 3 different stop loss types. The stop loss for this strategy that I coded into this strategy tester is going to be the super trend ATR. However, you can use your own ATR or your own fixed percentage from the entry of the trade. And you can adjust all that in this area right here. You can also enable a take profit as well, so that you're not just using the take profit signal from the strategy. You can just set a hard take profit. And if you so depending, the only problem is, you guys, this is a trend following strategy. So right now I've got it clocking in at about 40% accuracy, right? Which means it's right 40% of the time. However, with those big wins, it is a profitable strategy. Okay. So this is a set it and kind of forget it strategy, and you watch the equity curve raise over time. Yeah, actually, Bird, I know. I've already been working on converting Quadrigo to PineScript 5, and I'm familiar with how to do the header sections using the group function and declaring the variable for the string of what the group is. It's just, you just got to understand, I'm just getting back into this. It's a lot of work, and we'll get to it. Now, I know that there's the convert to V5 code, but I don't like doing that because like I'm very particular about my code base. And when you do the convert to V5, it makes everything a little funky, like gives things new variable names and all that. And I found, I already did this for like a pretty large strategy, just going through and using the find and replace. So it'll definitely be happening as we move forward, getting everything upgraded to V5. And there's also some education that I need to do on V5 because I know that some things have changed. So there's options in the new strategies. And, I want to make sure that I'm not updating a strategy into a version of the code that I am not going to be able to maintenance or take care of. But again, I am a firm believer in keeping up to date and keeping current with the latest innovations. So it will be happening. Thank you, Mr. Ether. Highly appreciated. Bflow says, can we use CC indicators for a trading bot on 3 commas? Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, that is something that I want to, make a video about and talk about. So yes, you can absolutely use CC indicators to automate a bot or strategy on utilizing 3 commas. You need to format. So in your, I'll just briefly go over it here. Just a second. Let me finish talking about this and then we'll get over the backtest date range, and then you can adjust the baseline in here. So that's pretty much it. Now the thing about this, right, is this thing's pulling about 3% profit average on trades. And in the, if you enable to take profit and set it to something like anywhere from generally like 2.5% to 5%, then you can jack the accuracy all the way up to 75% actually on this strategy. The only issue with that is that, remember, you're typically paying, anywhere from 0.5% to, 0.75% in fees nowadays. So, fees are not nothing and slippage is also not nothing. This is accounting for fees. This is accounting for fees and slippage. So, just something to keep in mind. So let's talk about, let's go over here. Okay. So let's talk about automating a signal in 3 commas. Now, this is not going to be super comprehensive. And in fact, I need to brush up on exactly how to do this. But essentially, you create an alert, add alert on CC Minx, and then you can select any of the functions that I've coded into Minx here, for example. So let's say we want to go long signal. Okay. Once per bar close, open-ended. You're going to take the webhook here. You're going to go to 3 commas, and you're going to get the webhook for your bot. You're going to paste that in here. And then you're going to name the alert. But in the message section, you're going to need to format the JSON message the way that 3 commas tells you how. And there's videos on YouTube how to do this. It's in the 3 commas documentation. But you just need to make sure that this message contains all the information that the bot's going to need. And then if you're running the strategy on multiple pairs, you can put that all in here. For a multi-bot or a compound bot is actually what they call it on 3 commas. So that's pretty much how you do it. You put the webhook in that 3 commas gives you for your bot. And then you have to create a JSON message. A JSON message is just a message in curly braces that goes to 3 commas and tells the bot specifically what to do. So yeah, you can do that with literally any indicator on TradingView. And while I have not written these, while I did not directly write these indicators to kind of be set up to do that, you can currently use them. And as I kind of push more into this, I will do everything in my power to make it easier for our members to do so. Philip Carr, good to see you, my friend. Mr. Ether, thank you, my friend. I might take you up on that. Monk says, is there any point to analyze alts at all if they all follow Bitcoin anyways? Well, you know, they don't always follow Bitcoin. Like, look, for example, we can just look at crypto bubbles up there. BTC USD is down over the last 2 days, about 4%. And we've got Cosmos, Matic, DFI. I can't believe DFI is pumping. That's crazy. That's a blast from the past if that's the real DFI. I don't think that it is. Luna, T-Fuel. And then, you know, for some reason it's not showing here. Oh, because I'm only looking at the top 100. So if we go over here to crypto bubbles and look at on Binance, yeah, look, you know, Cortex, Cosine, or Contentos, I always say Cosine, GXC, you know, BZRX, all up in the double digits, 2 of those up in the triple digits. So, yeah, there is absolutely. Now, listen, I like in general agree with you. And certainly for the more conservative trader, right? Like in general, if Bitcoin is going down and you have in your trading strategy, or you have some reason to believe that it's going to continue to go down, or you have, it's implied statistically that this is direction in which to trade, then generally the safest place to be is hedged or out of the market. It's the best way to preserve capital. So just depending on how aggressive you want to be, or, you know, how you want to trade. Okay. Okay, so let's get into the trading. BTC USD on the daily is looking pretty rough. Okay, I know that there's a lot of individuals out there looking for the kind of big pump up, and one thing to consider, one thing to keep in mind is that we haven't broken the weekly trend. We are having a weekly pullback. Okay, we're having weekly pullback. We are forming a higher weekly low. I guess for those who want to be the trend line traders, you've got a little bit longer to look for that break of market structure. And again, the only thing that's a little concerning about this weekly pullback is even if it's a higher low still formed, we still have anywhere from like 15 to 20% farther to go until we hit that weekly baseline, which served as our previous level of support. Would also be the shelf down here. It's possible we come down and do bounce off this order block right here, but again, we've still got a little bit more distance to go, and we just haven't seen the weekly turnaround yet. So we do have the weekly sell signal here from Minx. Minx finally crossing over and letting us know to exit position after it asked us to get in here. Here was the weekly buy signal on this weekly bullish engulfing candle, and we had a nice push up from there and then out here. So a good, just trading the weekly trend. Just trading the simple weekly signals. You had a 21% move on Bitcoin. You were able to capture 21% after off a total move of 70. Okay. And again, other benefits of just trading the weekly trend is getting in here. Actually, here is the weekly candle, and getting out here initially, and then back in here and out here. Right. So multiple good movements there on the weekly. Weekly trend, not yet broken. Let's look at auto VWAP here, which has been kind of interesting to see. And again, auto VWAP's letting us know just as well that significant levels of support really not down here until the 44,000. And I'm just going to disregard this one for right now. I'm going to go with this one right here because it's in line with the baseline as well. So paying attention to those weekly time frames is good, but just keep in mind, again, we're in a weekly uptrend. Okay, but we trade the movements of the daily. Okay, trade the movements of the daily. We do not have a daily short signal here yet, but actually, let me actually rephrase that. We kind of do because we have Minx, which is going to be closing underneath the signal line here today. And again, we've already been below the baseline for a while. So keep in mind that we don't need that momentum. We don't need that volatility aspect of Wadatar for confirmation. We just need the confirmation with the red bar being above the explosion level. And we do have volume confirmation here in the sign of falling volume and falling price, right? So volume is higher than it was 10 bars ago, but price is lower, which is why we are getting that red candle. Momentum oscillators crossing back down below the baseline, and our confirmation indicator is also giving us a bearish signal as well. So daily shorts are on the table. We've got a good R to R for those daily shorts, I think. And again, a good opportunity. Again, we'll have good opportunity to get in. We're relatively close to the baseline. Price has only been down about 4%. So again, we're only really looking at a 4% L on whatever our position size is, should price turn around and reverse. Let's look at potential targets for that daily short. Looking at 51,936, 49,038, and 46,139, which is pretty close to that weekly level of support that we were talking about. Just that third TP is $2,000 above that last level of support, or that first level of support, I should say. Stop loss at 59,179, just being in line basically with the current swing high. And again, just Bitcoin unable to break that range high, lower high, lower high, lower high. So pretty concerning, honestly. And you can see the altcoin market move right along with it, right? You can see the altcoin market look right along with it, with the exceptions of some, with few exceptions, okay? So buyer beware. Okay, let's over to Ethereum to see how Ethereum is holding up. Again, Ethereum having a bigger correction today as well. Ethereum about to give us, not about, I don't want to predict anything, but we can see here that Ethereum is above the zero line for our centered oscillator entry indicator. So we need to cross below that zero line, and we're getting dangerously close. So pretty big corrections coming down. We do need to actually be down here around 41.37 for those daily shorts to activate. And we're just now, you guys can see volatility actually falling, and we just haven't actually built that bearish momentum up yet with the Wada-Atar indicator. Why did that happen? Okay, there we go. Interesting. Also, I did want to point this out as well. Going back over to the super duper, we do have a 3-hour sell signal, short signal here on Bitcoin and Ethereum as well. Sorry, I do want to use the Bybit chart. Yeah. So we do have the 3-hour sell signal here on those as well. Now, if you guys give me a second, I'm actually going to all right, just give me 1 second here, guys. Okay. So All right, so I took the liberty. I told you guys we were going to be doing this, but I did take the liberty of spinning up a stream account that was kind of popular back when I did it in the day. This is not a large account. There's this. I have 10,000 USDT in here. Actually, it's 10,159. I've made a little over 1% of that account since I set this up 2 days ago. And so we are going to be taking signals that are strategies. I'm going to be taking. Yeah, that was weird. I did get a little bit of bit rate drop there, but we seem to be back above 3,000 KBs. So let me know. Let me know if I'm coming in okay. So we're going to be taking strategies. We're going to be taking signals, from our strategies on Bybit for our margin trades. And we're going to be focusing primarily on Bitcoin and Ethereum, but that's what we're going to do. So let's go back to. Put live trading. Just let me organize my Discord here real quick, guys. Okay. Okay, so we're going to go back to this chart right here. And again, we do have that signal right here. And what we're going to do is we need to load up Quadriga so we can get our position size. $430 about. Not quite that much. Wow, that was way wrong. Just kind of hacking it. Okay, so pretty good. And we want to do equity is going to be 10,000. And we want to take 2% risk. Okay. And so our USD position size is going to be 2,104. So that's what we're going to do. For a BTC. Whoops. Use the calculator on here. Nope. Let's go to used to have my my BTC to USD calculator, Brave and Chrome extension, but not anymore. Let's see here. Okay, we'll just do 2100. Cool. And we were looking at 47.42, give or take. Oh, that's not right. Duh, that's above price. Oh, on fucking help if I was on the right market. Okay, sorry, Ethereum. All right, good stuff, guys. You guys were just gonna let me do that? You guys are terrible. All right, let's see here. We actually want Ethereum. Let's see here. Okay, there we go. Now, one more time. 47.35 now. Cool. There we go. And now we'll just do the same thing for BTC. I want it over here, and we're gonna do. Am I gonna get it there? No, we're gonna do like 5,000. Close. Let's say 2,700. Ooh, I think 26 is the sweet spot. There we go. We'll take it. 58,750. And we want position size is 2810. And get this set up so I can switch around my screens better. 58,713. Boom. All right. Just so the premium members can keep me honest, obviously. These signals have already beamed into Discord. So you guys can track and follow those along as you want. Getting them on the sheets, not as easy, but I'm doing my best. I'm working on it, guys. All right, so let's get back to... God damn it. Okay, so let's talk about that's something I'm gonna have to add to Quadrigo, which is where let's see here. Yeah. And so right here it's got the custom true range value, which I was using to like hack around my my thing. What I think I'm gonna do is I need to is that way this way people who are using non-ATR stop losses can still use Quadrigo and still have the nice functionality as well. I'm just going to put in here a box where you can just enter what your stop loss is if you've calculated it via some other method, and then it'll do all the position size calculator niceness. The other nice thing that I'm going to do when I finish upgrading this to V5 is that you can do tables now. So I'll probably have this nice table up here. I've seen other programmers do that, where instead of having this up label where everything is displayed, everything can be displayed up in these cells up here. So anything I can do to make my life easier, your guys' life easier, we do it. But again, just again to reintegrate, this is going into this strategy is going into Discord, and this is just one of actually got 11 more strategies to code up. So there's going to be quite a few strategies. We're going to have the BTC signals channel. We're going to have the Ethereum signals channel. Then we're going to have like probably, I haven't decided between top 10 and top 30. It's going to depend on how all the back testing and actual fee structure end up working out. But that, and then we'll have, we're going to run the weekly scanners for the weekly positional trades. This is essentially going to be, there's a couple different ways I want to do this. One is going to be just based off the tactical analysis, and then I'm going to have a couple options in this. This is for portfolio management. So weekly holds and weekly rebalancing, and then the weekly momentum portfolio, which is basically rebalancing your portfolio based on what is moving with the most momentum in the market, based on certain parameters, and yeah. So all that information going to our users. And then we'll find time to put some new educational content, because I've got so much recorded. I basically need to get everything on from Google Drive onto the website so that it's nice course format. I think I am going to shy away from like doing all the writing out of the text. I've had a lot of feedback on that, and although I enjoyed writing it, I'll probably publish a book one of these days. What's going to happen is and what works better for people is just the visual learning. So going to just focus on video tutorials right now for the educational content on the website for the Trading Academy. And I think that's going to work the best. I think that's going to benefit the largest number of people. It's going to benefit the largest number of people. So, all right. Thanks, man. Good to see you. Good to see you in the Discord there, bit by bit. I got a t-shirt that says that on the back. Trading the world bit by bit. Bybit sent it to us when we were team captains back in 2020 for the World Series of Trading competition. All right. Okay, let's take a look at some of these top movers of the day. We're going to get this strategy off here. We're just going to go back to the main scene and look at these top movers of the day. We'll start off with Atom. Oh, that's Cosmos, right? It's still Atom. It's Cosmos. Yeah. Yeah, it's Cosmos. Their ticker symbol was... There we go. I don't know why it was pretty fine. All right, Cosmos, not looking too bad on the day, but I would be a little hesitant here. Again, I'm a little wary of these pumps with the larger market moving down. You'll often see something just push right up and then Bitcoin decides to tank. And then it takes a lot of these gains with it. Of course, like trade your own strategy. I mean, there's opportunities there anywhere. Ditsia, thanks for coming, man. Hopefully you have a good one, my friend. Let's see here. What was I going to say? But there's the danger of entering into a lot of these is just the uncertainty of the market. And actually, we're not getting any trending long signals from here. So we've got this. There are a couple nice things here. You've got this you've got this triple bottom and price pushing up. But even if you were doing this from a reversal kind of point of view, you really want to see this upper trend line be broken. This negative trend. Let's actually plot that right from the highs. There we go. Yeah. We do want to see a close above this level, which is going to be a little bit higher than where the actual baseline is. So just using the baseline is a good kind of filter in this area. Did find support on this little shelf over here. So again, the market turns around when it wants to turn around, but we do not have rising momentum. Price and volume is still lower than it was 10 bars ago, interestingly enough. So that's going to be right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yep. This rejection candle right here. Now, this is a good candle with good momentum, but we need to see how it closes. Now, if we end up closing here above 32.16, you want to be aggressive. I can see a potential play here. But just being wary. Again, we saw this happen with Bitcoin. Here's this previous supply zone where a lot of offloading occurred. This is where you can see the selling is established right here, and just price is really struggling to get above this level. I need to see price above it before I'm looking for these kind of pronounced longer daily swings. All right, that's Atom. Let's look at Luna. DeFi coin doing its thing. Luna, on the other hand, it's trending well. I'm not seeing any large wicks, large candle body size. We would have got the buy signal on Luna on this candle right here, and we would have captured this movement. This was just not one that I was tracking or looking at, but here you can see PTP catching this asset, this trend really well. we're not overbought. Luna actually looks good. I'm not going to lie. I wouldn't recommend an entry in this overextended area, but definitely would recommend holding positions. And if you have not already, of course, make sure that you lock in some profits and start trailing or move that stop loss up to break even. But Luna, unlike Cosmos, which we just looked at, is certainly proving itself by continuing to trend above its most recent high and going on a tear. So good for Luna. DFI USDT. All right, DFI USDT, big wick to the top, looking like it's continuing to push. You know, again, DFI doesn't look too bad here. We're just pushing up with large momentum. We had this big kind of blow off top, but price is continuing to move. We're not yet overbought on our momentum oscillator. We would have got the signal to get into this trade right here on this candle. So up 18-20% from the baseline, and then getting up there to 75% at the top of the wick would currently still be up 37%. Again, an entry here doesn't look good. We're overextended, and we never know when the end of this movement's going to come. However, so very same recommendation with Luna, right? And so again, developing that daily strategy, developing that habit of daily scanning the markets that you've looked for is going to be your best bet to find the movements like this. You just have to find them when you get the signal and take the signal. And you don't know if it's going to be a good one or a bad one, but when it's a good one, it's worth it. Near USDT up 8.4% on the daily here. And again, just looking very much like Cosmos, where we've got kind of like an established attempt to switch. We are coming back down here to this kind of previous level of support. I do like this a little bit better than Cosmos because we actually found support on recent price history rather than some arbitrary level back here in the day. But just again, kind of similar thing. We've got continual higher lows here. So higher low, higher low. Let's see if this is a higher low and lower lows, lower lows, lower high, sorry, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower low, lower low. So we need to see that trend break. And again, utilizing the technical indicators in the way that we do also gives us that information, because as we can see, price is just unable to break above the baseline. And we've been getting nothing but negative momentum from what? Our explosion right here, negative volume from our volume indicator. And where is Minx? Minx is all the way down in the zero territory. So nothing going here for Luna. I need to see a pretty significant change in the trend here. Other mover of the day is going to be, we already looked at Matic, so let's just look at T-Fuel here real quick. Again, T-Fuel looking just like the Luna and Cosmos, attempting to do something. You know, one thing, yeah, I mean, one thing that is kind of positive here is that T-Fuel, Theta Fuel has found a lot of support down here in about the quarter range. So again, bottom, 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 bottom. This is a higher low, but again, kind of you want to be aware that if this movement fails, you want to look down where that important support is. You're looking at like negative 20 to 30% deprecation, which is typically not something that an individual wants to hold on to. And even with all that being said, lower high, lower high, lower high. So I wouldn't be surprised to see if this movement goes up. Can we actually plot this? Oh, that's not very good. I should use a trend line. Let's do this. Nope. So if we just take these two, we've got that. And if we take, yeah, no, I think that's hoping for it. This one might work. Nah. So I think just the two, and looking for that third test of resistance. So let's just look, if we were trading the trend line, what we're kind of looking at here from entry up, we're kind of looking at around anywhere from like 10 to 12% maybe. And you know, there's just not a great, you know, again, setting your stop loss down here, I guess isn't too bad. Movement fails, the movement fails. You know, again, you're only really looking at 1-to-1 R on here. So for some traders, that's going to be fine. The thing to watch out for too is this potential rejection from the baseline that we're getting right now. You know, price is coming up, tapping this baseline, and this is usually where we often see movements fail. You can see that it acts as resistance here, and this is just in line with this level of supply right over here. This level of supply that has been acting as resistance, except this brief attempt to get over it, but we failed back down below it, and now there's even more. Again, anybody who bought here and didn't sell, got out at break even here, and anybody who bought up here and didn't sell is attempting to get out at break even now. So there needs to be a larger influx of traders, and just based on the current market regime, which seems to be turning bearish, I'd be a little cautious here. So Yeah, so those are the big movers of the day. Talked about what I liked, what I don't. ACU5 says, I got t-shirts, hats, hard wallets, all with bit by bit. Cool, man. Well, if you are who you say you are, hit us up on the Discord. Let's have a conversation. I always like to talk to people who are in the space and see what they're about. Krista P. Snaritz or Krista P.S. Snaritz. Thoughts on Bitcoin scalp trading? I'm not a scalper. Listen, so the beginning of my trading career, I was in Forex. I would trade 5-minute bars and 3-minute bars. And I did that for quite a while. And yeah, I'm over it. So the lowest time frame that I'll trade now is the 45-minute. I'm not a scalper. Of course, there's opportunities out there and everything. But the issue with the issue with day trading is this. Like, consider this analogy, right? Consider investing in Bitcoin. Okay. And I'm gonna talk about 3 different individuals. So let's consider 3 different people who are all investing into Bitcoin. Okay. The first individual gets an update every 3 months from, let's say, his broker. Okay. Or just only looks at the chart every 3 months. All right. So that's the first individual. That's the longer term investor. Okay. Looking at the charts every 3 months. Then you've got somebody like me who is looking at the chart once a day, typically. Obviously, with my job, I look at it more for the show and for our members, but just in my own private trading, right? For my primary account, I'm utilizing the daily time frame, where I'm looking at the markets once a day. All right, so consider that. I'm looking at the price of Bitcoin and taking more active trades every single day. And then consider the day trader who is looking at a new bar every 5 minutes for 4 to 8 hours every single day. All right, a couple things. It is psychologically draining and demanding and terrifying to be a day trader. All right, it's fun for a while. It's fun for a while, especially if you're having a good streak or if you're good at it or if you're getting lucky. Most individual day traders are just lucky, honestly. But some aren't. Like, there's some skill involved, of course. It's mostly discipline, right? It's just you're going to get so much new information and conflicting information, and you're going to be right in the heart of the noise, right? A lot of the information on the lower time frames has nothing to do with where the market's actually going in the long term, right? It's just price fluctuations. It's tough. It's really rough. Okay. That's not to say that there's not money to make in there. I think the better thing to do is to get into strategy creation and develop those lower time frame kind of automated strategies that run for you, and then use some popular botting software to implement it. And then, use your creative ability to kind of determine when to turn off and when to turn on those strategies. Good place to start is going to be like a range trading strategy, and get into there when volatility is low, but the market isn't trending. You can determine those things visually. Yeah, I mean, the day trader's approach to trading is just, I've seen it's got the highest failure rate of any individual who attempts to trade. Swing traders have a much lower failure rate, much higher success rate, and trend following traders higher than that. Yeah, that's not to say that I hate scalpers or hate day traders. It's just that I know how difficult it is. I know how demanding it is, and I know how unsustainable it is, right? It is unsustainable to think that you're going to day trade day in, day out for years. It just is. You're going to get not wrecked financially. You're just going to get tired of it. It doesn't matter how much money you're making. You're going to get tired of it. Mr. Kobayashi coming in and let us know that there is going to be a V-shaped recovery after 2 hours. All right, so that means I got 2 hours to let my 2 hours to let my short run, and then I'll look to book profits. Hopefully, we get that like big, massive death dump. Then, that would be nice to see for my short positions. Luna, magic internet money, abracadabra. I guess what's depending on what we're looking at, right? Are we talking about altcoins with a V-shaped recovery, right? So an upside down V, the flying V, if you would, Or are we talking about the Bitcoin? Hey, this looks like that's from the Da Vinci Code. Ding. All right. Boris Bitcoin says, Justin, any thoughts on a short setup on the SHIBs? Let's go look at the SHIBs. Oh, it's just Shiba. Why did I don't know why I typed in SHIB. You know, let me say a couple things, right? So one trader that I respect quite a lot is actually long on Shiba Inu right now. I don't really have an opinion on whether that's a good or bad thing. I mean, I know that he's a good trader and I trust his analysis. So let's how am I forex? I was a profitable forex trader. I'm serious. The day trading aspect was rough. I was trading very differently too as well. I wasn't doing technical analysis. I was mostly focused on order flow. I'm able to enjoy more time with my family, and I'm able to maintain my sanity over the long run. And on top of that, learn how to program, create a community, do a live stream that I enjoy, just live my life a lot better, just focusing on the bigger swings in the market, longer term investing, and now developing automated strategies. But I'm not, well, hold on. Let me start off there. But it was rough for many years. Okay. I did not come by profitability easily. Like, I was a terrible fucking trader for years. Like, absolutely just god awful. Yeah. I've blown out multiple accounts. Until I figured it out. Yeah. Till I figured out how to do my own thing. And that eventually became, technical indicator based strategies that eventually became PTP. And now it's becoming PTP applied to automation with some modifications. Let's see here. So yeah, my story is just for anybody out there who's struggling in the markets, just keep trading. You'll get there. You'll figure it out. Just need time in. Short setup on Shiba Inu. Just utilizing this strategy. Well, we're getting pretty close. Okay. Lower low, lower low, lower low. Let's see if this is a bottom or a lower low. It's likely going to go. The one thing to remember at Shiba Inu is it's got the Wall Street bets effect. Okay, so with things like Shiba Inu, you can never really tell what's going to come. All right. This thing has done crazy stuff. And you've got a lot of entrenched instantiated buyers in here. Again, at the same time, most of them are absolute retail investor noobs who are going to panic sell as soon as this thing breaks support here. But right now, probably got people loading up, waiting for this thing to moon. So the problem with that is if they load up enough, cool, this is going to bottom and price can move up. And then more newbies are going to see price moving up and they're going to ape in as well. But if this thing breaks down below this level of support, then pretty much everybody who's been accumulating here, or maybe buying the way down, might be more inclined to panic sell, especially if we see the broader market move along with it. So caution on that. Volatility is reset, man. If we get a big spike down here, we could see this continue to push down. So we need to see price below, just almost shy of where it is. We're at 4,100 and we need to be pretty much below 39.30 or even 40.37. Let's actually see what the value of the baseline is. 40.70 is where the baseline's coming in at. Yeah, 40.70 is where the baseline's coming in at. So a daily close below 40.70. Minx looks like it's going to give a continuation short signal. We actually got a short signal from Minx right here. I would have caught this movement right there. 22% move. And yeah, this push up was just so big that water really hasn't reset. We've had bearish volume all throughout here, so that's good. And yeah, just a pretty pronounced downtrend, man. So I like to see significant signs that the trend has ended. Yeah, watch for a break with high volume and high momentum. Trade in that direction. You know, it could equally be the case that this thing consolidates here for a while, and then we just have to take the trade from there. But just remember, if the broader market makes a big move, thanks, Philip. I appreciate that, my friend. What's the word I was looking for here? I was like, I cut my finger. It's not bleed. It's not bleed. Don't relax, everybody. Don't call the doctor. I forgot. Moving on. Okay. Philip Alexander Carr, you're the legend, my brother. I think a huge pump the minute Robinhood mentions adding it. Absolutely. Absolutely. You have no idea. Shib chart reminds me of Doge back in August. Well, it should. It's basically the same chart. Okay. So we're going to be wrapping the show up here in about 10 minutes. So I will do... Thank you, Crypto. Yeah, hang that up. We do not call the cops around here. Okay, we do not do that, all right? I do see one more request up here. I'm going to take it, and then we're going to pop out to the outro for some final thoughts on today's trading session. Got the Jasmy USDT. All right, not a whole lot of daily info here, so let's go down to the 45-minute. All right. Overall downtrend. A little bit of consolidation led to this double pump, double top. Now we've kind of broken back down below that. And this thing is stair stepping down. I really don't like that. We are getting pretty close to being oversold on the momentum oscillator, again, at that kind of level of support. So just, you know, if I were inclined to trade this right now, I'd just be broadly looking at this area right here as a buy zone, coinciding with my momentum oscillator, giving me some sort of oversold indication and crossing back up some sort of buy signal. Likely DCA in here as well if I was kind of looking for that play. And then I would look to take price back up just to this level. Well, first off, depending on where, if you buy it here, I'd be wary of any levels of resistance like this. But overall, just looking to take price back up to this consolidation area right here. And then the baseline would be a secondary target. So that's going to be a reversal trade. So this is not a trade in my wheelhouse, but this is just how you could trade this asset. Alternatively, I'd just be looking for this thing to reassume its trend after it has a little bit of more consolidation. This really looks like it's going to at least break down here a little bit more to this upper level, kind of this upper band of this box that I've drawn. And again, that's the consolidation area. That's entirely possible. But you know, you really get lucky if you can pick this asset up down here. And again, I'm not saying that it could possibly just completely tear through those levels. But, you know, typically things that have been recently listed have a little bit of go in them. And this thing has done, this thing hasn't done big moves, basically. This thing just got listed on Binance. But I assume, yeah, I'm familiar with this one. I've heard this one talked about before. So I know it's been listed on other exchanges for a while. Yeah. 150. This thing's fucking massive. Yeah. Yeah, this is a pretty rough looking chart, I'm not gonna lie. Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean once it gets to Coinbase and Binance, you know what I mean? Like you need the crowd to come in and pump that baby up. So, yeah, and kind of the danger about this is what looks like low accumulation, like could be big. Like I didn't even see those big prices that came in before this thing was trading above $1 at some point in time. Jesus Christ. No problem, Boris. Thank you for the question, man. Okay, so thoughts on Jasmy, BTC USD now making that move down. All right, go shorts, yay. Let's check back in with our positions. Again, we just took, there we go. You guys, just a while ago, we did put on about $2,800 for Bitcoin and $2,000 for Ethereum here. Position size trades. A little late to the party. We should have actually got in earlier, but I was streaming, talking to you guys rather than just taking the signal, so it's okay. We talked about the potential for daily shorts today, and just kind of wanted to point out, I guess, that Mr. Kobayashi foretelling a 2-hour in 2 hours V-shaped reversal. So be on the lookout for that. And if it doesn't happen, boo this man. Boo this man. Okay. With that being said, guys, let's hop back out here. Okay. So a couple housekeeping things. So for the foreseeable future, we're going to be doing 1.5-hour streams, probably not doing the full 2 hours. Occasionally we will, go longer. And likely what we're going to do is we're going to limit the number of streams, not 5 days a week, because I'm going to be doing these streams by myself now. I do want to make sure that I can keep pace with all my other obligations, not just family, but programming indicators, programming strategies, automating signals to Discord, doing mentoring, doing my own personal training, of course, and creating and fleshing out new educational content for our premium members and for our YouTube channel. I also need to start getting back on my consistent recording schedule for new content on the YouTube. So I know that a lot of people have enjoyed the previous content, and honestly, a lot of our popular content was created before we had all the good recording equipment. So being able to go back and take everything I've learned and make new public educational content as well will be fun. But of course, the premium members will always get preference. And don't forget gardening. Yes. So likely looking at something like maybe a Monday, Friday live stream schedule and a public YouTube video coming out on Wednesdays that'll allow me to focus on coding and creating educational content for the premium members on, the rest of the days, but Tuesdays and Thursdays specifically, dedicating full days to it, which is going to be, I think a good thing. Anyways, so those are thoughts. Let me know what you guys think in the chat. Or leave them in the comments down below. Any way that you think I can improve the stream, improve how we do these things. If you guys are Discord members, make sure that you leave the comments in the suggestion box and I'll get to them as best that I can. All right, so let's do that regular outro. Okay, guys, thank you so much for coming to the show. This is the Kraken Cryptocurrency Show. I'm your host, Justin Wise. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, sarcastic remarks, death threats, or hot stock tips, leave them in the comment section down below. We will be back on Monday so now that I'm in MST, I should start just doing things in MST. I think maybe that'll be helpful for some people. Likely not. We'll be back here on Monday at 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. That's 12 p.m. Central Standard Time for another episode of Kraken Cryptocurrency. Hopefully to see you guys in the Discord. If you guys would like access to our educational content and our online training academy, our strategies, our indicators that are proprietary, if you guys would like access to our signal system as well as group mentoring and one-on-one mentoring, make sure to check out everything that we offer, premium.krakencryptocurrency.com. All right. Trade safely, guys. I will see you on the other side and looking forward to this dump and or V-shaped recovery. Either one. I'm cool with either, right? Cool with either. All right, guys. Cheers.